The WrestleMania Minutes on Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast with Robbie Mack and Kevin Laramie. Here's Kevin Laramie. WrestleMania 5. Second back-to-back in Atlantic City. Rob, first of all, what do you think of when you think about WrestleMania 5?
I think, Kevin, about the feud. Now, when Cena and Rock had their feud, and we'll get there eventually, but the seeds for the Hogan Savage main event were planted 1 year ago today. Well, not today, but 1 year before the event. I think WrestleMania 5, to me, I think of the Mega Powers exploding, and probably one of the best way that a story's ever been told in WWE.
Yeah, one of the best builds, for sure, in the history of the company. First of all, it was held on April 2nd, 1989 at the Trump Plaza in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Once again, the attendance of that show was 18,946, but WWE was the same as WrestleMania 4, got paid for a flat rate, and it was the casino itself who had the burden to find some 18-inch wide butts to put in those seats.
Yeah, I think that if you take a look at it, I think probably Donald Trump came out the best in all this, because all these people were, I'm pretty sure that the way that it was done, that when you go to places like Atlantic City or Vegas, if you're a high roller, you spend a certain amount of money, you'll get comp tickets to like boxing matches or shows. I'm sure a large group of those people in that crowd that night were comp tickets and tourists, people who probably didn't follow the wrestling business that well. That's probably why the pops for guys, except for guys like Hogan, probably weren't that prevalent in WrestleMania 4 and 5.
Oh, absolutely. That's why the crowd acts in a very bizarre way, because it is not made of marks or of fans, if you would like. It's made of, like you said, comp tickets, people in the casino, gamblers, or locals, but more gamblers. Locals of Vegas are known to don't go to casinos, and the ways not those ones. But let's get back to WrestleMania 5, and what is your favorite match of this, who was named back then one of the worst shows by the Wrestling Observer newsletter back then, but there's been a lot worse WrestleMania since then, but what's your favorite match of that show, Rob?
Probably my favorite match looking back, and even watching it today as a grown-up, and even looking back as a little kid, would have to be Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Hey, we got the same one.
Now, that's perfect. I think Rick Rude is one of the few guys who could get a good match out of the Warrior. Yeah. Rest in peace, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it told a good story. It had a good ending, and it had Warrior losing the strap to Rick Rude.
Yeah, but I'm not really worried about the Warrior for now, because the next show we're going to make, it's going to be in your backyard. But
it certainly is.
Like you said, our favorite match is Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior, because you get Rude, you get some ravishness, you get some Bobby Heenan involved as always, and they always bring something different. When they're there, they're not bland like the other. They're not like Dino Bravo, for fuck's sakes. And hey, he's like a guy from my town, but still, they're bland compared to when you see Jake Roberts early on, and you see Rick Rude. It's something different, and it really caught my attention, even watching it back in nowadays, you know.
And it's a shame that when you watch this, it's really a big shame that when you look back, that Rick Rude didn't really get he did go on that program with Warrior the next year in 1990 when Warrior won at SummerSlam 90 when they did the cage match. But it really is disappointing that Rude didn't get a run as champion, like world champion. You know what I mean?
Not everybody. Everybody has its own place, though, and Rick Rude, has to say, was really a good Intercontinental Champion, really known for it. His tights always brought something different to the table, always was interesting. Rick Rude, for me, was a pioneer of some sort. If you put Rick Rude 10 years later in the as a wrestler, just 10 years, like if he would be in his prime in 98, he would have been, it would have been something different, you know?
Rick Rude's definitely a guy who was ahead of his time. 100% agreed.
All right, that wraps it up for WrestleMania 5. Next show, WrestleMania 6 live from the Sky Dome in Toronto, brother.